Welcome. I see that as we get started, one of the comments that quickly caught my eye on the Twitch live stream. Hello, by the way. Mouthy Mitten Mama. Wow, that's weird. Was listening to Big 101.3 yesterday and heard your old pal Eric Zane talking out of the song Treat Her Like a Lady by Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. I spoke. And Mouthy Mitten Mama says, "Hey, Zane, I heard you poke fun at the bear last night, saying how your old pal Joe should have treated his woman right. That opened up a family conversation with our kids we hadn't had yet." Well, that was just fiction. I don't, when I say that stuff on the radio, it's been indicated many, many times. Ryan, very quick to copy and paste, provides me with the following. This is a work of fiction, this show. And what I say on the radio. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of Eric Zane's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. That applies to just about everything I say. It could have been any old Joe I was talking about. So glad you are here on this fantastic day, the 12th of December. We are getting closer to the shortest day of the year. It's always a big, big focal point. It's like, okay, now at this point, once we hit that equinox thingy, which I think is right around December 21, then the days start getting longer. I love that so much. Of course, you don't notice it for like 3 months. Oh, my God. Okay. As you know, this show originates in the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker studio. Baldwin Ace Hardware, beacon of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. If you're up there, go to Baldwin Ace Hardware. Mike, who runs the show there, is, I think he's going through COVID for like the 15th time right now. All right, where to begin? When we last met, I was describing to you my upcoming weekend. And the one thing I knew that I would be doing was driving limo to Ford Field. A group of people wanted to go see the Detroit Lions. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take that job. In fact, the folks at the limo company said they actually requested you. And I go, oh. Well, that is so sweet. I discussed it on this show. And I said, well, someone asked, it might have been Kyle from Dumpster Divers. I think he was going to the game. And Ryan asks, you're still doing limo? Very rarely. I haven't driven in months. And the only reason why I did this one is because, according to the limo company, I was specifically asked. So I said, well, I can't let that down, and otherwise I'd just be sitting around here, and I could always use the extra cash, for God's sake. I mean, come on. Nobody's getting rich here around the Eric Zane Show podcast household. So I took it. While discussing that on this show, the guy who hired me noticed that on this show, I wasn't sure whether or not I was just going to sit in the parking lot. I was totally content and just sitting there and waiting them out, because that happens all the time in limo work. You go there and then you just sit and wait while the people do their thing. So I was totally comfortable doing that. But then the person who hired the limo company reached out to me. It is Don O. Don O, I know, has been a supporter of the podcast for a long, long time, and supports on Patreon, listens to all the content. Awesome. Very, very helpful. Has given money for the Great Food Giveaway. More on that a little later on. And so he goes, yeah, hey, you're going to the game. Wear Lions gear. And I'm like, what the fuck? Now, I have never been to one of these games. Last time I went to a Lions game, they played in the Silverdome, which has been torn down for years. And I don't really have a recollection of much of what I saw. I was usually massively intoxicated. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the last football game I saw the Lions play was when I actually did drink prior to June of 96. So I can't tell you if I ever saw friggin' Barry Sanders. I don't know. I remember I saw a USFL game there once when the Michigan Panthers took on the New Jersey Generals, Donald Trump's team, and Herschel Walker was there. I remember I was on the field with Jeff DeChaussee, the guy that I gave the kidney to, because his dad got tickets to the Michigan Panthers against the New Jersey Generals. And he goes, hey, man, look, hey, I got tickets. Let's go to the Michigan Panthers game. And sure enough, we're on the field. His dad was in TV. And we got field passes. And there's fucking Herschel Walker comes walking out of the tunnel. It was incredible. That was before he lost his mind from all the CTE and decided to tell every woman in America to get an abortion. And then I saw the Oakland Raiders, at the time the Los Angeles Raiders, and the Lions play on Monday Night Football. I think that was probably 88, 89. When Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson were like the backfield. Holy shit. Yeah, Bo ran wild over the Lions, but the Lions won that damn game. Tyler, so did Eric do the complete opposite of not watching the game? He actually went to the game. I did go to the game. And, you know, the plan was here that if I was, like, at this house, I would not have watched that game. No way, no how. But this is different. So, Don O says, yeah, dude, you are going to the game. Wear your Lions gear. I'm like, oh, fuck yes. So I reached out to the boss at the limo company, and I said, hey, Don O, who hired me through you, wants me to wear Lions gear. How do you feel about that? He goes, no. You got to dress professionally. Don O even said, he goes, I don't want you to have to sit at Ford Field dressed like a gay magician. So I reached out to the boss. He goes, no, you got to be dressed like a gay magician. I go, all right, no problem. Which was fine. All right, so this is an all-day affair. Okay, you got to get up early. You got to start driving early. I pick up these dudes at 9 a.m. at a park and ride in Grand Rapids here, and these are the dynamic is Don O. I think he sells pipes and plumbing supplies to various businesses in and around the area and beyond. And quite a substantial operation. Very successful. And what he's doing here is this is a hey, thanks to the customers event. There's a particular group of plumbers and pipe fitters that work in the commercial sector. And it's all these dudes that are in the limo. And it's a local company called River City Mechanical. So all these, basically, it's all a bunch of plumbers, pipe fitters, and Don. Okay? And they're going to the Lions game. And in fact, there's a if you are driving through Grand Rapids, Michigan, and through the area known as the S curve, there's a parking structure called like right where that right by Van Andel Arena is Studio C, and there's like the big parking structure, and there's a big ass crane because there's work going on right now. They're adding on to that structure or some shit. These guys are there today, albeit hungover, doing their thing, doing pipe fitting work and plumbing work. I don't know how any of this shit works. All I know is that when I was driving with them, I asked the question. I go, have any of you guys ever looked up like the history of plumbing? And man, their ears perked up like crazy. They go, oh yeah, the aquifers or the aqueducts in Roman times, and they're like breaking it down like the history of piping. And then Steve in the group, he goes, man, the P-trap revolutionized our industry. It saves you from dangerous gases. The P-trap, like under your sink, there's that elbow deal. That little thing keeps us all from dying. And these plumbers, they don't want you to forget that. If it wasn't for people like us saving the world everyone would be dead from the dangerous gases that are stopped by the P-trap. So we were having conversations like that. These guys are great. I think it's what it's called, right? The P-trap. It's a weird name. So, all right. River City Mechanical. They get into the limousine, and then one of them says, I think it was this guy Steve. Steve was kind of like the big personality of the crew. Okay, he's the one who's going to potentially get us kicked out of the brewery after the game. Okay, he goes, "Come on, Dono, you got to start now." No, how did he word it? You got to start in the morning if you want to drink all day. Get to it. And these guys they're loaded down with so much booze. And on the way back, in fact, this guy, Steve, he got into a huge argument with Dono, the guy who booked the whole thing, over Barry Sanders. This blathering, drunken argument of stupidity. Dono somehow thinks that Barry Sanders was a shit pile running back. That tells you how ridiculous this was. And then Steve's trying to talk some sense into him, and dumbfuck Don is going on and on about how Barry Sanders wasn't shit. Now, and he's wearing Dono's wearing a Lions jersey. And I'm like, what the fuck? How? Huh? So we drive to the game. Everything's great. Awesome. Here's the problem with the venue. It's in a place that has the worst parking scenario ever. Okay, when you went to the Silverdome, they made that facility in the middle of nowhere. So you go to the football game, and everyone parks in the Silverdome parking lot. It's vast. And that stadium held like over 80,000 people. This one, I don't know, it's more like 60, 65. It's a bit smaller. But you go to the Silverdome, and everybody parks in the Silverdome parking lot. Now, it would take forever to leave. Like if you went to a Lions game on a Sunday back in the day at the Silverdome, and then you try to leave the parking lot, it's going to take you like to the next day to get the fuck out of there. It was horrible. But at least it was a place to park. Detroit it's just fucked up. I mean, you have the area where the baseball stadium is, Comerica Park, and then the football stadium, and they're right next to each other. And it is surrounded by some casinos and shit. Absolute despair. And it's all these surface lots. And it's super expensive to park. But they're just kind of everywhere. It's just like basically baby Jesus said, all right, you can have the stadium. And then he wadded up a bunch of parking lots and threw them down at Michigan. And wherever they landed, that's where they were. It's an absolute nightmare. The only way I can see doing this appropriately is to leave, especially if you're coming from where I live, which is 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away, is leave at like 4 a.m. and get there when the drug dealers are still on the street at like 7 a.m. and the homeless people. Get there, and then if you're and then set up a tailgating event, and then hang out in the surface lot and eat like a king and drink like a fool, and then walk a mile to the game. And then when you leave, it's like everybody's in the street. Everybody spills out into the street, and they all just like, everybody was celebrating and partying. It was crazy. It was an unbelievable scene. It was great. You will get no complaints out of me. This was I had the time of my life. I haven't had this much fun in a long time, but is not without stories and awesomeness that I can now tell you. In fact, these drunkards that I was with, they said, they go, well, you're going to talk about us tomorrow? I go, let me put it to you this way. I go, when I sit down and come up with shit to talk about on my show, I got to pore over news headlines and things going on and maybe rack my brain on a personal level about what I can talk about. I go, but for you guys, all I have to do, it's simple. 1 minute before I want to do the podcast, just write down the words Lions game, and it's all going to be there. So, all right. As we're getting closer to the stadium, it's bumper to bumper. I am in a 30-foot limousine. It is a super stretch Lincoln Town car. It is the biggest fucking limousine you'll ever see. All right? This town is not designed for vehicles this big. And as we're getting closer, we get to about a mile and a half out from the venue. And that's where everything grinds to a halt. I take them about as far as I can take them. And then they get out and walk to a place to get a bite to eat. It's about an hour before kickoff. This one particular portion of the road as we get to the stadium is 3 lanes going one way. The problem is there's a valet service at a hotel. And so it's 1, 2, 3 lanes, and then the side of the road where vehicles are parked right in front of the hotel. And this lady who's the valet, she has to get these cars out of there. Now, I am in the lane closest to where these vehicles are parked. And I'm looking at her, and I can't move because she has one of the vehicles that was dropped off and being valeted is right in a lane that should be a through lane. But it's not because there's a Buick there with the hazards on, flashing. It's blocking everything. And I'm the next car behind the Buick. So that means everybody that's in behind me has to get over. It's already a fucking nightmare. So it is like a problem. And my vehicle's 30 feet long. Getting over is not easy to do. So I'm like, I am not going to attempt this. I need to wait. Okay? And this lady is frantic. She works for the hotel. And she realizes she has to get that vehicle out of there. Now, where I am, to my right, is the area where the cars are parked in front of the hotel. And there's an opening. And she wants to take that vehicle that's blocking my way and put it in the opening. And I can see what she wants. And she kind of makes eyes, points at her eyes, and then points at that spot and the car that she's in. And she has room because I'm giving her room. There's a nice buffer between us, probably 3 car lengths. There's cars to her right, there's me, and then a space that is behind those cars to her right. She can very easily put this car in there. And so she wants to do that so that everybody else can get through. And I'm like, absolutely. And so I don't move. But this is where the show starts, because she gets in there. And she's vastly underqualified to do this. Because she starts to kind of back the car in there, and she's got it. All she has to do is put it in drive, roll forward about 2 feet, hard right on the wheel, and then she's going to go right in, and then strong left on the wheel, and it'll go right in there, back right in perfectly. So she gets about halfway there. She backs all the way up, and her wheel's totally turned to the right. She puts it in forward and rolls forward the way she came. She had to turn the wheel left there to inch up, to angle the car correctly. She doesn't do that. She just goes to the right and then backs it and then forward and then backs it. She's just doing the same thing over and over again. And then this bitch gets frustrated. And she now is going forward. She's going to abandon ship and pull in front of one of the vehicles that's parked to her right. These are all these cars are her responsibility. She fucking stomps the gas and sideswipes this fucking car to her right, fucks up the Buick, fucks up this beautiful Ford F-150. It's just, everything's fucked. Everybody's going, oh, people are walking, what people are walking to the game, they see she completely greases this car, fucks everything up, and the road is now free in front of me. She has now parked the car. Yes, it's successful, I guess. And I'm like, holy shit. So I just roll right through all this, and she's got a look on her face like she doesn't give a fuck. I'm like, oh, man. It wouldn't surprise me if she just walked home, walked off the job. Oh, my God. Okay. So now I'm like, where do I put this fucking car? So near the stadium is impossible. And first of all, getting it into one of these lots is just not going to, I mean, they're not set up for 30-foot stretch limousines. So I'm cruising along, and I am now a mile away from the stadium, 0.8 miles, almost a mile. And I see this little dude waving a flag. And I roll down the window. I go, can this fit in here? And he kind of looks around, and he's got a spot. He goes, yeah. Immigrant. Everybody here is an immigrant. And so he tells me how to get up there. And so I have to go in a certain way. And he's screaming at me when I'm trying to make a turn, because you can't just turn. You got to half turn, back up, turn the wheel, forward, back up. And every time I back up, he's screaming at me, watch out, watch out. It's like, dude, I fucking got this. Shut the fuck up. But I'm being polite. This guy's going to help me. And he actually has a spot. I can see it. I roll up. And I go, you can get me in here, right? He goes, yep. I go, how much? Now, he looks at it and he goes, 1, 2, 3 car. Meaning this vehicle is as big as 3 cars. And it is. He goes, 1, 2, 3. And I go, okay. He goes, 150 with tip. I work tips. I work for tips. Now, he sounds like a dick, but he wasn't. He was actually very, very sweet. And I go, fine. Let's do this. So I start to park. He goes, no park yet. 150 with tip. I go, all right, you take a card? He goes, no card. You go there, there's an ATM. And there's like a fucking place just up the road. It's right next door. He goes, you walk up first door on the right. ATM. Oh, cash. Everything cash here. This is Detroit. You know, you would think they'd have a fucking thing, but no. You can't do card transactions. He goes, leave car right here. I watch car. So it's literally in the middle of there's all these cars. Everybody's going into the game. And it's just me and this guy in this fucking big-ass car in the middle of the lot. Put it in park, lock up the car, walk 100 yards, go to this place he's told me to go, open the door, it's locked. What the fuck? Place is, no, I come back, and I go, what? I go, what's your name? He goes, Shah. Shah is my name. I go, Shah, it's locked. He goes, okay, you go block down Bobian, make a right on Madison, and at the corner, grocery, ATM, 150 with tip. All right, leave car right here. I watch car. I watch car with my eyes. I go, all right, buddy. You got it. I text Don. I go, big money, man. It's going to cost you $150 to park this fucking thing. I go into the store. As I'm walking into the store, there's a homeless guy who's got the DTs. I'm not kidding you. I guess it's, like when you are strung out on alcohol or whatever, you start to shake when you don't have, when you really got the thirst bad. If you don't put any alcohol in your system, your body starts going through withdrawals and shaking, and shit like that. And I'm walking up, and there's another guy there, and he starts talking to the guy who's got the shakes, and he says his name. He goes, "You all right?" And he goes, "The guy's struggling." He goes, come on in. I'll help you out. I'll get you some medicine. So I'm like, what the fuck? And the guy's like apprehensive. He's not sure. And the guy that is holding the door open for a homeless guy is going to buy him booze. And sure enough, he does. He bought him a pint of fucking something, some swill, and gave it to him. Now, this is a very, very small little oasis of fresh food and shit in the middle of this nightmare city. And so I go walking in, and it just looks like a place where people die. And then it says ATM, and there's an arrow, and then I make a left, and I go to the end, and I go, I don't see any ATM. I go, well, this is how they get you. There's actually no ATM there. This is all a scam. I'm about to get stabbed. And I see this dude behind the bulletproof glass. I go, you got an ATM here, man? He goes, oh, yeah, you got a U-turn and then down 2 steps, and then it's on your left. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. I go there, and there's a Bitcoin ATM and a real ATM. I'd never seen a Bitcoin ATM, but I put my thing in, and I get out. You can only do it in increments of 20, so I get out $160 out of my checking account. All $20 bills. I got a fucking wad of bills. Everything's great. Walk out of there. Guy's drinking now on the street, the guy who we started with. I walk all the way back. There's Shah. He is with another customer who's parking a Porsche, and this rich fucker gets out, and he's got a $100 bill, and he gives it to Shah. And the guy asks for change, particular amount of change, and Shah goes, I work for tips. I take good care. I watch car. I take good care. I work for tips. And so the guy says, keep it. It's like $50 for him to park this car. He goes, keep it. The trucker walks up. And I go, well, I'm in for it. I'm fucked. Because you know what's coming. I'm in $20 bills. And I've got $160. Now, I think without tip, it would have been like $120 to park this limousine. So he's already getting $30. And I go, Shah, I'm ready for you. I go, put out your hand. And he goes like this. I go, no, flip it over. We're going to count this like Price is Right. And he puts his hand there. I go, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And his lips are moving, and he's nodding every time I put another bill in his hand. 120, 140, 160, you give me 10 back. And he goes, and he loses his smile. He look up for me, and what did he say? I work for tip, guy. Come on, man. 160. And he's like that bold about it. And I thought to myself, I go, any motherfucker who is willing to look his customers in the face and say, give me more money, man. I go, come on, Shah. And he goes, no, you come on. I watch car. I get you in here. I need this money. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, this guy makes serious bank. Because between me and Rich Fucker, he's just gotten nearly $100 in tips. And the fucking lot is full of cars. And then, so he doesn't own the lot because he says to me, he goes, okay. So I give it to him. And I don't want to deal with him. He goes, I will watch car with my life. And if you happen to see owner of lot, you won't, but if you see owner of lot, I charge you 100. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, Shah? And he goes, 100, please. You won't see, but if you do, he's skimming big time off of this motherfucker. Oh, what a profit. When we got back to the car, he sees me. He comes right. He gives me a fucking hug. I go, did you watch it okay? Shah goes, I watch, guy. I watch, man. I watch you. I watch car. You come back. You asked for Shah. Whatever that means. Oh, my God. I haven't even gotten into the game itself. This is the whole. I could honestly, I could do 2 hours on what my eyes saw. Holy shit. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these audience members on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm going to send you on your way. I want you to check out the rest of the show. And it's on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live is where you need to go. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Either download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live, follow the page, subscribe to the page, or on your laptop or desktop, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Okay? That's how we do it. In fact, I hope I didn't just fuck this up. I don't think I did. Aha. All right.